Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today for this deep dive. Running a processing plant isn't easy, right? Hitting those production targets and making sure everything runs smoothly. It's a challenge, and today we're going to explore a concept that might just change the way you think about achieving operational excellence. So we're diving into this IME solutions document called Operating Model Realizing Objectives in Processing Plants. And we're going to uncover how their time and state methodology can be the key to making that operating model a reality, not just something that sits on the shelf.
Yeah, it's interesting. How many plants have a well-defined operating model, like a roadmap for success, but still struggle to consistently hit their targets? The missing piece often lies in really understanding and managing the operational risks that are constantly at play in a processing environment.
So this document really emphasizes aligning all aspects of the plan,
Yeah.
strategy, processes, technology, people, to create a smooth and efficient operation. But you're saying there's more to it than just having a good plan on paper.
Think about it. You're all using KPIs, right? Key performance indicators like throughput, energy consumption, uptime. Those are important, but they only tell part of the story. They show you the outcome, but not necessarily the underlying causes of why your performance might be fluctuating.
So it's like, you missed a production target, but you don't know why. I think we've all been there.
Precisely, to get to the root of the issue, you need to dig deeper than just those surface level numbers. Imagine you're aiming for 450 tons per hour. The question isn't simply, did you hit it? But what prevented you from hitting it consistently? What are those operational risks that are holding you back? That's where IME's time and state methodology comes into play.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. From what I understand, time and state is all about identifying and addressing those operational risks. But can you break it down for us? How does it actually work?
Time and state focuses on how much time your processing units are operating at their optimal state. It's about identifying, quantifying, and ultimately managing those deviations from that optimum that lead to performance variations and losses.
Sounds promising, but what does optimal actually look like? I mean, is it different for every plant?
It is specific to each plant and even each unit within the plant. So, for instance, if we're talking about a mill, you'd work with the team to define the ideal particle size, density, feed rate, other key parameters for that specific mill. That becomes your benchmark.
So you're essentially setting a baseline for peak performance. Then what do it?
Then the Hyman state helps you pinpoint exactly what causes that mill or any processing unit to deviate from that ideal state. We're talking anything from equipment issues and process variations, even to seemingly small operator decisions.
That's incredibly valuable. You're not just identifying that a problem exists, you're getting to the bottom of what's causing it.
You got it. And that's what makes it possible to translate those high-level strategic objectives, like producing 315,000 tons per month,
Huh.
into tangible, real-time metrics that the plant team can actually control.
So instead of just aiming for a monthly output, time and state helps to break it down into manageable daily or even hourly targets. It's about empowering the team to be proactive, not just reacting after the fact, like when things have already gone wrong.
Exactly. That shift from reactive to proactive can be a game changer. And we've seen the results firsthand.
All right, let's talk results. What kind of impact are we talking about?
IME has documented some incredible outcomes. We're talking about production increases of over 18%, energy efficiency improvements of over 7%, and millions of dollars saved simply by being able to anticipate and prevent equipment failures.
Those are some seriously impressive numbers. So time and state isn't just a theory, it's actually delivering tangible bottom line benefits for plants.
Absolutely. And the beauty of it is you don't need to invest in new equipment or overhaul your entire process. It's about using what you already have, but making it work smarter and more efficiently.
Now, you mentioned working closely with the plant team when implementing time and state. Can you elaborate on that?
Collaboration is absolutely key. IME stresses the importance of co-designing solutions with the people who know the plant best: the operators, the engineers, the maintenance crew. This isn't about imposing a top-down solution. It's about empowering the team to understand the data, identify the problems, and come up with the solutions that will work best in their specific context.
I can see how that approach would build buy-in and make sure that any changes are sustainable over the long haul. It's about creating a culture of continuous improvement, not just a one-time fix.
That's a great way to put it. What's truly exciting about this approach is it's not just about boosting numbers. It's about empowering people to do their best work and feel a sense of ownership over the plant's success. I think that's something we can all get behind.
Absolutely. Speaking of success, I'm eager to hear about some real-world examples of how time and state has been put into action. We'll dive into those compelling case studies in the next part of our deep dive, so stay tuned.
So it's one thing to talk about the potential of time and state, but it's even more compelling to see how it plays out in those real-world situations. IME Solutions has this collection of testimonials and case studies on their website that really showcase the impact this approach can have.
All right, let's hear those stories. I think we can all agree. Seeing how something actually works in practice is far more convincing than just talking theory.
I couldn't agree more, and what's striking is the diversity of applications. We're not just talking about one specific type of plant or industry. Time and state has been successfully implemented in everything from paper mills to mineral processing plants to packaging lines, so it's really quite versatile.
So it's a flexible approach that can be adapted to different processes and challenges.
Yeah.
What kind of challenges are we talking about? Can you give us some specific examples?
Absolutely. Let's start with Cape Craft Mill, a paper mill in South Africa. They were having trouble maintaining consistent quality and production output. Their general manager, Jonathan Hermanis, describes time and state as a real eye-opener. It helped them identify those critical control parameters that were causing the most variability in their process, and then figure out practical ways to keep those variables within acceptable limits.
So it wasn't about some massive overhaul of their equipment or processes. It was about understanding what was truly causing those fluctuations and then finding ways to manage them.
Exactly. And the results were impressive. They were able to significantly improve their control over the process, which led to better quality, more consistent output, and even a reduction in downtime.
That's a triple win.
Yeah.
What about other industries? Any examples from mining, perhaps?
Of course, let's look at a BRPM contractor plant. A joint venture with Anglo Platinum, they were facing a bottleneck in their milling section, which is a pretty common challenge in mining operations. Oscar Machina, a group metallurgical engineer there, explains how time and state helped them pinpoint those very specific operating conditions that correlated with higher mill performance.
It sounds like it's about moving beyond just general best practices
Mm-hmm.
and really getting into the specifics of what works best for that particular plant, that particular piece of equipment under those unique conditions.
You're spot on, and the insights can be surprisingly nuanced. For example, they were able to detect the early warning signs of a gearbox failure just by analyzing that time and state data. It even picked up on an instrument measurement that was drifting, something that had gone unnoticed by the control system and maintenance personnel.
Wow, talk about preventing a potentially major disruption. It's almost like having an early warning system for the plant.
That's a great way to put it. That's the kind of proactive capability that time and state enables. And we see this theme repeated in other testimonials as well. Minnie Potgieter, head of concentrate production at Incommodity, talks about how time and state helped them avoid potential equipment failures. That could have led to significant production losses.
It's amazing that you can get this level of insight and control without having to invest in a ton of new sensors or fancy equipment. It's about leveraging the data you already have, but looking at it through a new lens.
That's what makes this approach so powerful. It's not about adding complexity. It's about simplifying things. It's about giving the plant team the tools and insights they need to make better decisions in real time.
What strikes me is that recurring theme of empowerment. That comes up in these testimonials. It's not just about improving numbers, it's about giving people the knowledge and confidence to take ownership of their plant's performance.
You hit the nail on the head. There's a sense of pride and accomplishment that comes from understanding what's happening, why it's happening, and knowing what to do about it.
It's about moving from a culture of reaction to a culture of proaction, which can have a transformative effect, not just on the plant's bottom line, but for the entire team. We've seen how time and state can be successfully applied in paper mills and mining operations. But I'm curious if there are other industries where it's proven effective.
Absolutely. One testimonial that stands out is from Peter Franson, a control and automation engineer at Neopak, a packaging company. They've been using time and state since 2015 and have seen significant benefits in terms of understanding their process and equipment behavior, preventing interruptions, and even gaining predictive capabilities for maintenance.
It seems time and state can optimize the entire production process, not just focusing on individual pieces of equipment. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
That's a great observation. It's about having that holistic view of the plant and understanding how everything is interconnected. We've looked at examples from paper manufacturing, mining, and now packaging. It seems like this methodology is truly adaptable and can be applied across a wide range of industries.
It certainly seems that way. We're seeing a clear pattern here. In each case, time and state has helped these plants achieve impressive results regardless of their specific industry.
You've picked up on something important, the fundamental principles of time and state. Defining that optimal state, identifying deviations, empowering the plant team, those are universal. It's about understanding the unique dynamics of your plant regardless of the industry and tailoring the approach to fit those specific needs.
It's about working smarter, not harder, and taking a data-driven approach to uncover those hidden opportunities for improvement that are often right in front of us.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's about shifting our mindset from this is how we've always done it to how can we do this better? And that's a question that every processing plant in every industry should be asking.
I completely agree. This has been a fascinating exploration of time and state and its real-world impact. But we're not quite done yet in the final part of our deep dive. We'll wrap things up with some key takeaways and leave you with some thought-provoking questions to consider, so stay tuned. Okay, so we've really gone deep into this world of processing plant optimization today, exploring operating models, those limitations of the traditional KPIs, and the power of IME's time and state methodology. We've heard some amazing real-world success stories. But before we wrap up this deep dive, let's take a minute to reflect on what we've learned. What are some of the key takeaways that really stand out to you?
Well, I think the most important takeaway is that achieving operational excellence, it's about more than just having a well-crafted operating model document, right? It's about truly understanding those inherent operational risks that can throw even the best plans off course, and having a practical, data-driven way to mitigate those risks.
It's about bridging that gap between that high-level strategy and the actual execution on the plant floor, between what we want to achieve and what's actually happening out there in the process.
Yeah, and that's where time and state comes in. It gives plant teams the tools to move from a reactive to a proactive approach, to get ahead of those problems before they snowball, and to continuously optimize their operations.
It's been really impressive to see how this approach can lead to such significant improvements, increased production output, better energy efficiency, improved equipment reliability, and even a boost in team morale. It's about creating that culture of continuous improvement where everyone feels engaged and empowered to contribute.
There's that old saying, you can't manage what you don't measure. And time and state gives you that crucial measurement, that real-time window into what's truly driving performance, both the good and the bad.
And armed with that knowledge, you have the power to make those informed decisions, to adjust your course when needed, and to continuously strive for that ideal state where everything's running smoothly and efficiently.
Imagine your plant operating closer to its full potential, consistently hitting those targets, and your team equipped with that knowledge and tools. To make that happen, that's the promise of time and state, and it's a vision worth pursuing.
Absolutely. If you're ready to explore how time and state can benefit your specific operation, head over to IME's website or reach out to them directly. They have a ton of great resources available, including in-depth case studies, testimonials, and even a blog that delves deeper into these concepts. It's been a pleasure diving deep with you all today. Until next time, keep those minds curious and keep those operations optimized.